Hey everyone, welcome to Picksburgh. This is Anthony, and you're joining us for the ECOM and Beyond morning show. With me, as always, is my co-host Nate. Every day I'm hustling, best beard in the business. Plus, today we have a really awesome special guest. We got Rev Resale with us,
Good morning, everyone.
so I'm excited to have him. I've been wanting to interview him for a while, just because we come from a similar background, and just to pick his brain and to get some knowledge would be awesome today. I want to say hello to a few people that are in chat. Larry Lafferty, you're the first one in here, man. I just gave you a broski point for being the first. We got Justin Jacobs in the house. What's going on, Justin? Jody Mikama, Canada's finest over there. Country Picker, good morning to you. He said he's listing. He had a great weekend of sourcing at estate sales. That's awesome. I need to hit up some estate sales myself. I haven't been to any in like a couple months now. Got Hip Flippin' Mama in the house. Hey, Kelly. Great to see you. Got TB's Collectibles. Thanks so much for being here. Jennifer Hayes, good morning to you. Got Perlini all the way on the West Coast. Up early today. Good to see you, Lynn. Swift Seller, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Got Johnny in the house, Cajun Roots Reseller. Good morning, Johnny. Brittany Brands in the house. What's up, Brittany? Good to see you. Diane Matthews, good morning to you. Always a pleasure to have you here. Sandollar, good morning to you, Ray. Glad you're with us. Eric Bischoff, what's up, man? That dude kills it on Amazon. Every single weekend he sends me a picture of like all of his boxes going out, and I just feel like so inadequate of a reseller. He's like a monster when it comes to shipping stuff into Amazon. I thought I was doing pretty good with multiple boxes this time, and he has like 87 boxes getting ready to go out. Definitely killing the game on Amazon. Veronic Pest, what's going on, man? Glad that you're here today. We got DC Sales, the master of the license plate. We got the hot mess thrifter in the house. What's going on, Amy? Glad that you're here. If I missed anyone else, feel free to say hello. But if you guys could do me a favor and go and subscribe to David's channel, Rev Resale, I'd appreciate that. That'd be awesome of you guys. Go show him some love. When I checked, when I went to grab his link, he was real close to 400. So I would love to help him get over that 400 mark today. That'd be amazing. So any of you guys that aren't already subscribed to him, if you could go and show him some love, I would genuinely appreciate that. What Eric says, those were all merchant fulfilled going out this weekend. Dang, man. You've been busy. Got Amber making an appearance on the show. What's going on, Amber? Yeah, so David, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for anybody that isn't familiar with your channel yet?
Yeah, I'm a full-time pastor, and I used to say part-time. It's still on the channel as a part-time reseller, but I like to say it's more fun time, because when I have the time, I enjoy it. It's fun. So the time that would be my fun time, a lot of that I'm sourcing and listing and selling. So that's really the reason that I do it. It's something that gives me something extra to do on the side, make a little bit of extra money, support the family, and help other people out. So that's really always been the intent. I started out YouTube, or I started out eBay. I was rebuilding old Ford carburetors. I have a little bit of background. I guess that's some of the part signs you see behind me. So I would rebuild the carburetors. It would take 5 or 6 hours, get them, really restore the carburetors, and I would sell them $300-400 on eBay. And then I saw, I think, Lonnie's channel and maybe another reseller that was doing what we do. And I thought, well, that's a whole lot easier. It doesn't take nearly as much time to go do that, to go find the stuff at the store. And the first weekend I tried, I found a really good source, and it's been paying off ever since. So now I'm kind of branching out and hitting all different kind of things and really doing pretty good on eBay. So the reason I'm on YouTube is just sort of to share that adventure. It's rewarding to me, and I think if it can be rewarding to someone else, I don't mind it a bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of how I started too. Lonnie was one of the first reselling channels that I found, and he inspired me to start making videos myself. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool to hear. How long have you actually been reselling for?
Wow. Now doing this type of resale, I was reselling, repairing the carburetors probably 4 or 5 years ago. And then we received a call to the state of Alaska. So that sort of stopped that portion. We went to Alaska for a year and a half, and just shipping out of Alaska was really, really difficult. Everything was expensive, and you couldn't find the stuff that I was doing there. So we were there for a year and a half, and then our home church, where I'm pastor at now, called us back. And then when we came back home, so it's probably been actively reselling, retail arbitrage, going to the source, a yard sale, those type of reselling. I've probably been doing it for over a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Okay, cool. So we probably actually started like right around the same time, as far as like I'd say full time. My church closed in 2018, and like I like pretty much went straight into full time reselling at that time, part time ministry, if there is such a thing, because as you know, there's always a demand of people that have problems and need help and whatnot. Yeah. But
no such thing as part time ministry.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, just getting deeper and deeper into the whole resale game and everything like that. And it's definitely been a fun journey. Definitely been a lot to learn on my end.
Yeah, me too.
I would say eventually I may get back into full-time ministry again. It just really depends. I've been trying to automate the business as much as possible, like with Amazon and stuff like that. Kind of like Nate was talking before we went live. And because even whenever I was full-time pastoring, I was still selling like video games and toys and Pokemon cards and stuff like that on the side on eBay, just like for a little extra income.
Mm-hmm. But that's the good part, is that you can always do reselling when there is time. I mean, it's not like you got to do it at 8 or got to do it at 10. I mean, if you've got time at 7 o'clock at night to go do sourcing, you can do it then. So whenever, and ministry is that way too, because if it's full time, it's not like an 8 to 5. You're needed at any time of day or night. So both of these jobs to me really work. They balance themselves out because I'm able to make a little more income, able to use funds to help others. And two, it's so flexible that if I don't have time to do anything on eBay for a week, it's going to be there when I get back, and nobody's going to say a word. So that's the good thing about reselling on the side.
For sure. How long have you been pastoring for?
Oh, wow. 2004 was my first full-time ministry. And so I pastored a church in Sylvania, Georgia, Millen, Georgia, which you wouldn't know. Those are around Augusta National. Went to Alaska for a year and a half, and then been back here in Porterdale, which is about 25 miles south of Atlanta. I've been here probably almost 3 years, so 2.5, 3 years.
Okay, cool. So how did you get your call to ministry? Like,
I
become a pastor, I should say.
I didn't grow up in the church. Parents did not attend. I guess the only time I attended church was funerals and weddings. I was 16, and I had a buddy that went to the church that I'm pastoring at now that invited me. And he told me that there was a good-looking girl in Sunday school, and that was all I needed to hear. So I came and really met some cool people there. Met, the cute chick wasn't even there, but met some cool people at church, and I think since then I've missed one Sunday since. But at that church, I guess about 2 years later, I was 16. I think I was 18 when I received the call. I was already working with the youth program, even though I was a youth, and received the call. Played baseball in college, tried to chase that dream, and tore my rotator cuff pitching. And it was the Lord saying, "All right, boy, I told you, you're supposed to be in ministry, not pitching." So that's how the call came about, and it's I wouldn't want to do anything else in life than that. That's a calling. I think that's the difference in a calling and a job. Ministry is a calling, and everything else we do is, to make ends meet when it comes to the finances.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you can still pitch some heat from that pulpit every Sunday, right?
Oh yeah, I can sling a Bible verse here or there.
I'm sure. That's awesome, man. I always love hearing people's story about how they got into ministry or how they were saved and everything like that. For me, I was raised in a Roman Catholic family, and we basically did. We were Creasters, I believe they call it, Christmas and Easter Christians. So we would do that growing up, and like we were considering ourselves Catholic, Christian, whatever you want to call it, but we really didn't have any kind of relationship with the Lord. It was like more or less a religion. And I just one day I was a professional wrestler, and I had a full-time job at a call center, and I had a guy that would like literally hound me every single weekend, like, "Hey, are you going to come to church? Are you going to come to church?" He was going through a ministry school, and so he'd tell me all this stuff that he's learning in school every day, and like I would just be zoning him out. And then I broke my back and I couldn't wrestle anymore, and the weekends were really when I did a lot of my traveling for wrestling and everything. So I broke my back, and I was just like down and out, and it got to be Easter time, and he's like, "Come on, man, like you've been blowing me off for like 2 years now. It's Easter, just come to church one time." And finally I just like was like, "Fine, dude, I'll come one time, but you gotta quit inviting me after this." So I even get my mom to like come with me so that she can like make up some kind of an excuse, like, "Hey, we got to go right away as soon as it's over, just to get out of there quicker." And man, I got in there, and the Lord just hit me like a ton of bricks.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was like such a it was like a tsunami of love just like hit me for like the first time in life. And
you'd never think of thanking the Lord for a broken back, but it looks like you should.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And I try to tell people, like, I was pretty much broken in every way a man could be, like mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And that day everything changed.
Not a bad place if that's where you needed to be.
6 months later I was in seminary.
Wow,
it was just insane the way it worked, and like how the Lord just like fast tracked me, and got through seminary, and did a couple internships at a few churches here in Pittsburgh. And a year after I finished my last internship, I was an associate pastor at my home church. And the year after that, we started our own church in 2014.
Yeah. I actually did a mission trip. I can't remember which year. I think it might have been around 2009, 2010 maybe. We came to Pittsburgh Baptist and did a mission trip there. The guy had a female name. His first name, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but it's a little small. I mean, you think Pittsburgh Baptist Church, but it was a small congregation. But y'all had something that was unique. It was a delicacy the kids loved. We did a vacation Bible school, and it was barbecued ham. Is that something y'all do? Like, like little small chunks of ham and barbecue. I'm a Southern guy. That was not something that we did, but the kids absolutely loved it. And it tasted fine. It was just not something that we eat in the South, but that was. Had a lot of good eating. Let me just say that in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, we know how to throw down here in the Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate that. She said she's never felt that way in a church, physical anyway. But I feel so much love in Bible studies on Tuesday. I really do appreciate that. And we love having you there. You are amazing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think church ought to be a welcoming place. One of the, I did an interview with a lot of Josh, and one of the questions that was asked to me was, is this is this a reseller channel or is it a church channel? And I just say that, I don't on the channel, I'm not trying to preach to people. Of course, I'm looking at the reseller side of what I do. But in this, and there may even be some in the chat, I haven't seen any of the names, but I've had 3 people to contact me from the YouTube videos and ask for prayer. One, was some marriage stuff that needed some just words of advice. So even though I don't preach on the channel, I'm still available. I pray with people, have opportunities. So it still opens up doors for ministry, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always thank the Lord because I actually didn't even come up with the name Picksburgh. I was just, I was driving home. I have an hour-long drive from the north. You probably don't know where it is, but North for Sales Goodwill Bins.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was just praying. And, I'd been considering doing YouTube for a while because I was watching Lonnie and a few other people. And I was already doing most of the stuff they were doing. I just didn't have a camera on.
Yeah.
And I just felt like the Lord dropped in my spirit the name Picksburgh. And it was just and I tell people all the time, I'm not clever enough to come up with a punny name like that. And, then shortly after we started the channel, we started doing Bible study on it. Me and Flippin Mama, we do Bible studies every Tuesday. And eventually we ended up moving Bible study over to my second channel, Flippin Hope.
Yeah.
But, we still do on Tuesdays, and we're hoping to build that up a little bit more and maybe start Sunday morning sermons and stuff like that on there as well. I still have a whole bunch of old sermons from when my church was still opened and everything. But yeah, it's cool to see how God can use a platform like this to not only reach people, but to also bless you too, because I was having a real hard time coping with the fact that the church closed, what I mean? And just dealing with, feeling like I failed God, that, I set out to do this awesome venture for him and it just didn't work out, whether or not it was my doing or just circumstances outside of my control. But God almost kind of used this as an opportunity to almost give me a whole new flock of people to minister to and to love on. Not that I don't still, minister to the people that were a part of my church and that go to the church I go to now, but he's given me a whole bunch of brand new people in my life, and I'm very grateful and thankful for it.
I think sometimes all we see is a closed door, and we don't realize that there's another one around the corner that he's opened up for us.
Yeah.
And we get hung up on the closed one, but we wouldn't have found the open door if he didn't close the other one. And there's so many things in life. I think Nate's story is similar. There's certain things that he shut out of his life so he can do what he does now. So I think there's things that work in all of our lives that he shuts, like baseball for me. I wanted to be pitching for the Braves and striking them Pittsburgh Steelers out, and not the Pittsburgh Pirates. I wanted to be, and the Astros now. I'd want to be beaning a few of those, but that wasn't in God's plan, and it was a shut door so that he could open up another one. And I wouldn't want it any other way. We always look back and can thank him for it, but sometimes through the journey, we don't see it.
Yeah, for sure. You probably could strike out the even with the torn rotator cuff or whatever going on in your shoulder. You probably still could strike out some Pirates.
Yeah, it would be. I would be throwing a lot of junk. There wouldn't be a lot of heat coming off of it anymore.
For sure. So, what's your favorite thing to sell?
Wow, I guess I sold. I found a lot of Redline Hot Wheels that was really fun because I think I still have the box over here that they came in, but I think there was 72 cars in the box, and there were 70 that were sellable. And man, I put some of those on auction, and the prices just skyrocketed. And so that was fun. So if I could get a lot of that, but I like selling things that don't take up a lot of space and flip really quick. So I've got a source for a lot of health and beauty stuff. So I have a lot of multi listings, so those work out too. Yeah, I really don't have a kind of a niche that I focus in on. I just focus in on stuff that I think will sell, and sometimes I have to load my truck up and take it back to Goodwill because it didn't sell. But most of the stuff, if I can, now that I've been in it for a year and a half, I sort of know what sells. The phone and sold listings, man, it helps me out a bunch.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one thing that I've really gotten a lot better at is sourcing. Well, I don't want to say a lot better, but a lot pickier at. Because when I first started reselling full time, it was basically flea marketing before I really got into eBay at a full time level. And there's just such a drastic difference in what sells well on eBay and what sells well at the flea market.
Yeah.
And different profit margins and everything like that. So definitely something I had to really learn a little bit better.
I think I get in a rut sometime. I think we watch so many resellers that I know I do. So sometimes I'll get like in the Justin rut and I'll go buy a lot of Funko Pops, or I'll, and I've kind of learned too that I don't need to be chasing just because somebody else sells that. I don't have to chase it. So because I only have so much time, sometimes I will kind of lean too much on that instead of just sourcing what's at my back door because I don't have a lot of time. So that's what I've done. I've just let the stuff come to me. I've got a few places I source. I love Friday and Saturdays. My wife will go out with me during yard sale season time. So we get a lot of stuff doing that, and we're still able to hang out. We go get lunch. So it's still good family time. So outside of that, if it takes me a lot of time to get it or a lot of effort to find it, it's really not for me because I don't have the time nor the the energy really to throw at something else if it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, it's my favorite time of year, though, is yard sale season. Waking up early every Saturday and just pounding the pavement. My wife loves going too, so that's always nice quality time. We can go source, get something to eat, and just kind of spend that time together.
We're talking a lot about eating. I remember when I was in Pittsburgh, there was a place that was it was like downtown where you had all the different little shops, but there was a place that had a hamburger that was like slaw, had a huge chunk of slaw on it. What's that?
Many Brothers.
Yes. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, we're famous for that place.
Send one in the mail to me. I know it wouldn't be any good, but I'd just like to look at it again. Woo! That was I took a picture of it, put it on Facebook. It was so good.
Yep. That's one of our more famous places. Basically, it's Italian bread. You get your choice of meats. You get a big stack of French fries, and then a whole bunch of coleslaw.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was was good. And then we went and played golf, and we ate at there was a bar that had an Italian restaurant, little small Italian restaurant in the back. And man, they had I had grilled pork. I remember what I ate every meal at Picksburgh. I think it was so good.
That's awesome.
My heart is still out at Pittsburgh.
Hey, that'd be awesome if you came back, man. I'd love to actually get a chance to meet you and do some good eating with you.
Most certainly. Look at old school. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for dropping that link. And if anybody's not already subscribed, please make sure you do. Dave puts out really awesome content. Definitely a channel that I've followed for a while. So I definitely highly suggest that you guys go and subscribe to him as well. He's close to 400 subscribers. So if we can get him over that mark, I'd be really appreciative today, guys.
Yeah, I thought I really reached the mark when my videos now hit 100 views. So I know for some guys that happens in like 2 minutes, but for me, when it was getting to 3 digits, I thought, hey, I've got somewhat of an audience now. So I really enjoy the 300 and whatever subs I have. I'm honored. So it's a fun time.
Absolutely. And that's a pretty good conversion rate. You know what I mean? To have 300 some subs and be hitting triple digit views.
I thought so too. I look at things that way, and I thought, man, if some of these guys that have 30,000 subs, or even some 60,000, that doesn't get nearly that ratio, so I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let me ask you this: what does your congregation think of your YouTube channel? Are they think you're like a celebrity now?
Absolutely not. They know me. Yeah, I was actually eating. We've got a crew that we eat with just about after every service, and had a little girl. Her name's Livy, and she was sitting beside me yesterday morning. Yesterday morning after church, and she turned her phone over to me. She watches life hack videos on YouTube, and subbed to my channel, and she turned and looked at it. And I asked her if she watched it, and she turned it on and hit the thumbs down and turned it off. And I thought, oh my goodness. They don't, they know me as David, and these people were there when I was baptized. Still a lot of people, this was my home church. I was baptized, licensed, ordained. So I'm still little David to them, even though I serve them as pastor, and they're my celeb. So I'm not theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
You guys
they support the reselling side. They'll bring me all of their, Amazon packing. I mean, they throw a lot of bubbles and things like that. So just about every service, they'll be dropping stuff off in my office that I'll be able to use. And that's a big help, because some of that stuff can be expensive. So I'm grateful.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And the packing stuff. I mean, that's just a savings right there.
Yeah,
for sure. Do you ever do any like church sales or anything like that at your church?
Well, that's neat. When we first came, of course, we went to Alaska, sold everything that we had, and went down to 11 suitcases. And then when we returned back from Alaska, we had 11 suitcases and a set of golf clubs. So when we came back, they had a big yard sale there at the church for us, just to bless us to be able to get the things that we needed. And but I think they've done a few of those, but we always do it for charity. And there's always that question. And Anthony, I don't know if you have answered this one as well. People say, well, do you sell Bibles? Will you sell Bibles on eBay? My answer is absolutely yes. Our church gives out Bibles. I've given out Bibles. If somebody needs a Bible, I'll give them one. But every nice Bible that I have, I've sold, or I paid for, I bought myself. So these new Bibles, I think if somebody's going to pay for it, they're going to, they're going to use it and respect it and not toss it in the trash can. So yes, I'll sell nice Bibles.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I'll pick up any Bible I can. Nice ones I put on eBay. The ones that are like paperback or whatever, I save as like giveaway Bibles. Like I have tons of Bibles that are like for giving, and then I have tons that are for selling as well.
Yeah.
Unless it's like somebody that I know personally that I've like ministered to or something like that. Like sometimes I'll give somebody a nice Bible just because like, I want them to have something to, cherish. But for the most part, like the nicer ones I typically put online.
Yeah. Yeah, I've even gone and just bought brand new Bibles, because most of the ones that I sell are those that got them for Christmas or got them at graduation and just never used the Bible. The Bibles are brand new, so I don't mind selling those, and don't think there's anything wrong with that, because Bibles outside of the Gideon Ministry and a few others, people are that go through the process, they're selling them, so I do too.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, pretty much any Bible that's ever been printed has been sold at some point.
Yeah, right.
I mean, for the most part, has been sold, unless people are printing them just to give away. But yeah, for the most part, they've all been sold at some point, even if they've been sold to a ministry that gave them away or whatever. But yeah, I mean, there was a good point in the chat. selling a Bible means that it's going to be used.
That's
You know what I
exactly
mean?
right.
You're going to put money out on something that's just going to collect dust.
That's true.
So, and really, what better thing can you sell than the Word of God? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I've purchased Bibles for myself that I've spent good money on, and I wasn't gonna go complain to the family Christian bookstore like, how are you gonna charge me $80 for a Bible with my name inscribed on it? Shouldn't this be free?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but I do leather work on the side too, and this is just a regular Bible that I have, and the cover was getting tore, so I recovered it in leather and put the leather strips in it. So I did that all by myself.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could probably do that on a lot of Bibles and probably even up the value for resale purposes.
Yeah, I'm sure I could. I just stuff like that is fun, but when I'm doing it for myself, I do a lot of things that I do for myself that I don't know if I'd want to sell to somebody else. I think it's good quality, but man, I'd hate for somebody to get it and it not be what they wanted. I'd just give it to them for free. So it's too much cost to just give away.
Yeah, makes sense. James says he got a Davy Crockett family Bible in an estate sale, sold it for $275 to a Facebook group that was part of that family. Had all the marriages, births. That's awesome.
Oh man, you everybody says you should give Bibles away, right? That was a $275 Bible that they were happy to pay $275 for. I would have done the same thing. I think that's win-win for everybody.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it got back into the family. You know that where that Bible came from.
Yeah, and if you hadn't put it up for sale, that other family would have never found it. That would have just been somebody would have had it collecting dust on their shelf that might have meant something to them, but not nearly as much as it meant to that family.
Yeah, for sure. Nate, do you sell Bibles at all?
No, I just really don't know what to look for exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen Bibles, of course, but most of them are just seem like they're on the cheaper end for the most part. So I just kind of, I just went and grabbed something else other than that.
Yeah, pretty much what I look for is anything that's in good condition that's like leather bound. Mm-hmm. Those typically sell pretty good.
Yeah, everybody thinks, leather, genuine leather is, but there's some, like if you find calf skin or sheep skin or anything that has been professionally covered, this isn't professionally done, but like this is a very high leather. I mean, some of those Bibles, people get them recovered for $300. So, so there can be some great value in a nice Bible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be right back.
All right, man. Do your thing. We'll hold the fort down.
Yeah, I didn't have too many sales. I think I had 17 or 18. Had a viewer sale, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't get too many of those with a channel my size, but it's kind of neat. I think this might have been the first or second one, maybe the second one. I think I sold something else to a viewer, so that's always neat. Feel like you're getting somewhere when you've got somebody that's willing just to pop into your store and buy something.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of viewer sales either. Still just being a smaller channel, but yeah, it's always nice whenever something like that does happen.
Yeah, I think most guys will do it for the shout out, and I'm not saying I'm not above that either. I bought an Inaman from Commonwealth Picker, and so I've done a few of those things as well. So it's if it's a great way to get a shout out, and it blesses whoever sold it. If you bought it from them, so it works out good that way too.
Yeah, I like to every time I have a really good week on eBay, I like to go and at least buy something from someone that I support on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just as a way to kind of give back. because I've learned so much just by watching other people's videos. So whenever I have a real good week, I like to go and, pay it forward.
Yep, me too. I do that a lot through, through different means. Sometimes I don't really know if the the cash payment you can do. I don't do a lot of live. I've never done a live on my channel. I did do an accidental live. Me and my wife were getting ready. I was showing her. I got the new camera equipment and all that, and I was getting ready to make sure everything looked good for the Lot of Josh interview. And I hit live, and it was supposed to be private. And I'm sitting here talking to my wife, aggravating her. She was saying, "Oh, I look hideous," and I was like, "No, babe, you look hot." And then I looked down, and it had a like. And I thought, "Oh my Lord!" So I took it down really quick. I'm glad that's as far as it went because, but it would that would have been a really neat Reverend Resale video if that would have popped up.
Yeah, for sure.
little behind the scenes.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was unintentional, but it's deleted permanently. So don't go looking for
it. Sounds like a conversation like pretty much in anyone's household too. Me and my wife had that same exchange all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It was surprising, and I was thinking, I know I didn't hit the like button, and I think it was actually a guy in our church that said that he saw that it was live and had never seen me do that, so he turned it on, and I thought, well, if it could be anybody, this guy would have been okay with, but there was nothing inappropriate said, no anti-Sunday school words or anything, so it was good.
That's cool. Do you have any interest in getting into live videos at all?
Yeah, I think just like anyone else, if you're trying to get to that 1,000 mark, and then the monetization is really not a big deal, but it would potentially in the future it could be another way that I could be able to bless others with. I think the watch time hours has got to be 4,000 or whatnot. So I think to get those watch time hours, it's almost imperative to do live. So I may try to get into that in the future.
Yeah,
it definitely does help.
Yeah, that's how I got a lot of my hours. Just working hangouts and different things like the morning show, of course. Doing the morning shows definitely helped me get my hours.
We always talk about money, trying to buy from people's stores. One of the things I do on the TV back here is I'll turn it on YouTube, and I've got everybody that I'm sub to, and I'll just hit play, and then I'll leave. And all day long, it's just playing, people that I'm subscribed to, which I am to y'all. It plays the videos here, and all the, when the ads pop up, it plays all the way through the ads. So I do that, and it allows others to get watch time hours. I hate to say, even though I'm not always watching it, it's always running.
I do that for my dogs when I go out. I'll put on my TV in the living room so that they can, like, my dog Hunter loves watching TV. So like he gets like real like anxious and stuff. He's like older, so I'll leave the TV on for him, and he just like loves it. So he'll be sitting there watching all kinds of good reselling videos.
Yeah, I got a few pew pew channels, a few gun channels that I've watched, and so it's kind of like Home Alone. Nobody's gonna break into the house because there's guns being fired and everything off the TV. So
yep,
they're running all the time.
We think he's in a war zone.
Yes. So my cat probably don't like it. I wonder why it's always hiding under the bed when I get home. But
that's awesome. Do you ever watch Grimes Finds?
Yeah. I've seen. I watched a collaborative video. I think that was Lunkers TV and Grimes Finds, and a few of them came together the other day. Who was What the Hales? I think he was. They all did one together. So I subbed to their channels and watched that.
Yeah. Every time I hear pew pew, I always think of Grimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think any of there are certain channels they say if you talk about the G word that it'll demonetize you on YouTube. So pew pew sounds a lot better than guns.
Yeah, for sure. Cool thing about Grimes too is he's also in ministry as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I always love finding people that are open with their faith and willing to share it, regardless of how people may view it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's one thing we talked about. The channel was a reseller channel, but I always talk about being honored, talk about the Lord, but I'm not.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not a channel that I'm going to pull out the Bible and preach to you. But I'm a Christian, so
Yeah.
I should radiate that in every video. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise when you hear, "Oh, he really is a pastor." It
Yeah.
shouldn't be a surprise, or even for a Christian, if you're a Christian, people shouldn't be surprised when they find that out.
Hmm.
So.
For sure. Okay, here's a question from Brittany's Brands. She says, "What's the first section you gravitate to in a thrift store?"
Wow. I'll go first. I'm hard goods, of course. I always run to like the office supply area. Then I run down hard goods. I'll go to the books and just see if anything jumps out. I'm a connoisseur of books myself, so I'll find stuff for myself or stuff maybe that I could resell. Recently, I have looked at the hats and bought hats and even bought a pair of shoes the other day, some duck boots. But I don't do a lot of clothes. I don't do a lot of shoes. I probably need to venture out into the shoes and the hats, do more of that. It's just one of those areas that I sort of do health and beauty a lot because I have a source. I do hard goods because they're easy to list and easy to ship. And really, I just don't have a lot of storage space for a whole bunch of extra clothes. But shoes, I probably could do shoes more, if I find good ones. But that's usually my routine. I can go into our Goodwill. I've got 3 thrift stores. I probably hit them every day while I'm out doing ministry. And I probably can hit every store within 10, 15 minutes. I mean, each. That's if I, find something that I've got to sell. Sometimes I can be in and out in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not the smartest thing to do, but that's what I do.
Yeah. How about you, Dave? Where's the first place you gravitate to?
Well, if it's half price day, I'll go along there's a wall of clothing they have, and it's like the Nike, Under Armour. They put it all against the back wall, and it's all $7, $9. But if it's tag day, that's the color of the day, then it's $1 most of that rack. So I hit that first. That's like what I did yesterday. Then I hit shoes. Our shoes are usually pretty rough, so it's usually a quick drive by past there. But I go straight to electronics, and then back to the clothes. There's our hard goods section. Or like our electronics is sometimes okay, but the hard goods is a lot of like decorative pieces, like
Mm-hmm.
like the holiday stuff or whatever. So I usually don't. I go past it, but I don't really take much time there, and then I go to the clothes.
Yeah. I typically always save clothing for last, unless, like you said, it's like one of those things where it's at a really good discount. The reason for that is I normally film when I go through, and most people don't like watching somebody just like go through racks of clothing. But normally, like if I'm going to my main Goodwill that's closest to my house, they're the ones with the 50-cent plush. So I'll walk in, I'll go straight to the 50-cent plush cart, and I'll look through that, seeing if there's anything worth picking up there. And then there's a showcase right next to that I'll hit. Then I'll walk all the way around the side of the building and get to the electronics. And from there, I'll look at some books, and then right into some toys, into the hard goods, and then I'll go back to the clothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically the pattern I'll go, but it's just because it's like a good circle of the building. Victoria's asking, what's your favorite selling platform?
And mine is solely eBay, just because don't venture out much. I guess every time I go to a restaurant, I get the same thing. I get used to driving to a place the same way. So eBay has just kind of become old hat. I don't have to think really when I do it. It just becomes almost second nature. So because of the time restraints that I have, I really I don't venture out and try to do anything just because eBay is so simple. And everything that I sort of source with eBay in mind. And I will occasionally, if I have a big item, try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. But outside of that, that's it for me.
Nate, what's your favorite platform?
Well, since eBay
Yes,
has been terrible for me, of course it's going to be Amazon. But yeah, Amazon, eBay, Mercari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say my favorite platform is eBay. Second, Mercari. Amazon's awesome. Nate saw the other day I was having like a little hissy fit with it just because I don't know.
You got to work on your on your what's the word I'm looking for? Your order of operations.
Yeah. It like stresses me out building orders and stuff like that. But
I was watching them work, and I'm like, you're touching product like 8 times, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no wonder you're getting frustrated. And I was getting frustrated for you.
Yeah, it was rough.
I need to bring you over one day when I do a 8-box order, and you'll be like, you did 8 boxes in less time than what you did in your 2.
Like 3 hours to do 2 boxes.
Yeah,
it was rough.
I could do 8 boxes, almost 400 items, and right around the same amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about what reselling has done for us. I want to show you an item that I had a drive-by yard sale, and I bought this. So I'm just show it to you. That's it's just a little bear, hand painted, and it came with ducks. Got ducks. These are Fenton. They're glass, and I got these and looked at them. I think I spent $40, and I think there's 9 or 10 of them. I never would have thought to even look at this if it had not have been for, like eBay and knowing that this is something that could sell. But I will probably make some of them. I'll make $30 or $40 a piece, and there's a vase that's behind me that's going for $65. But without eBay, I never would have thought there was any value in these. But that's another thing that reselling has helped me out with, is finding value in things that I never would have thought had value. And there's a spiritual message in that too. I'm grateful the Lord found value in me, even though there wasn't any. But He saw it. So to me, that's what eBay has done, is it's allowed me to sort of look at things in a different light that I never would have thought. But somebody's going to want this when I sell it, and they'll pay, $30, $40 for it that I wouldn't have paid 50 cents for. I would have walked by it 100 times. But that's what, as a reseller, I think you got eyes to look at things in a different way.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that I'm really wanting to learn a little bit more about, is glassware and antiques and stuff like that. I've been watching a lot of Grimes finds and just some of the stuff he's been showing off lately. And I'm thinking, man, how much of this stuff have I walked by, whether it's, at, rummage sale or, Goodwill or whatever, and I'm oblivious to some of it.
Yeah.
It's just so much money that I've probably passed up on just because I'm ignorant to the category.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Watching YouTube helps me out. I've seen so many pickers pick up stuff that I would have walked by. I would have tripped over it and kicked it out of the way. And these cats are making $100 off of it. And so that to me is, I don't kick things at yard sales, obviously, but I don't kick anything anymore because there may be money in it.
Yeah, for sure. So Brittany has a question. Is there something you want to find in the thrift store but haven't found yet, like a brand or specific item?
Yeah, we talked about Hot Wheels. I used to have a large collection of Hot Wheels that I sold through. I would love to find that bag. I don't know if the y'all's Goodwill does this, but they'll get a lot of toys in or a lot of things, and they'll be small, and they'll just put them in a bag and wrap tape around it and put $9.99 or $8.99 on it. if I could find a bag of Redline Hot Wheels wrapped up for $9.99, I would flip out.
Awesome.
It won't happen, but I've seen guys to, find bags and it have red lines in it. I never have done that, but that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. How about you, Nate?
I guess it really isn't a specific brand or anything. Just, the stuff that, when you're watching other people, it's like, the super scores, you know what I mean? Like just items that, I don't know if my Goodwill is just cherry pick off them or what, but it's the stuff everyone else is getting. I'm not getting.
For sure. I would say the number one thing, this is like my unicorn. I refuse to buy it at full price. It's the only Nintendo system that eludes me to this day is the Virtual Boy. And I will not buy it at full price because, like, I know deep down in my spirit that I'm going to find it in the wild one day. Mm-hmm. Whether that's digging through a bin or, at someone's yard sale, like that's the one item I want to find more than anything is a Virtual Boy.
Well, it's kind of like, and this is illustration time, but it's kind of like when we were all single and we didn't have a girlfriend and you couldn't find a girlfriend, but just as soon as you got one, they all start coming out to woodworks. It's going to be that way. You're going to buy the Virtual Boy and then you're going to see them at every yard sale.
Yeah. And I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah.
Then I would just flip them for like $200-$300 all day.
This is Nate was just talking about the find. I don't know if y'all, Miniden was like my greatest find ever. I found it at a what I call my honey hole. Found 134 and I sold 133 of them. Probably made $8,000 profit just off of toothpaste. Never would have thought you'd make that much money off toothpaste, but Miniden is like gold.
Yeah. Yeah, and D is 100% right. You said I've seen you walk by a lot of glass and mugs in your videos. I sure do. And I have no clue what I'm even looking at most of the time. The only time I'll stop is if it's like a Disney thing, because then I'll just get it for my wife. But yeah, definitely. And again, guys, I'm going to say it. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you go and do so. I'd really love to see our friend here get to 400 subscribers today.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yep. I know you're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I saw Chris. Man, he was pumping it out. I'm gonna have to send him a $100 bill. He's hooking a brother up. He's getting me everything. He's just being a little salesman out there.
Yeah, Chris is a good guy. He really is.
Yes, indeed. He and his family. He's another one I'd like to meet outside of YouTube. Good dude.
Brittany said there's only 4 left. So 4 people have an opportunity to get into the illustrious first 400 subscribers.
Exactly right.
It's a very illustrious group, guys. Make sure you get in there.
Yeah, I think for everybody, it's anything you do. Of course, money is a part of the reward, but for me, I think it's something that I'm able to do and make money that I can enjoy. So that's why I like sharing it. I think for all of us, if it ceases to be fun, I mean, there's a lot of things I can do and make money, but if it ceases to be enjoyable, just like the Amazon thing you were having, if I ever get immensely frustrated with eBay, I might take a week off. Just say, hey, if I'm gonna get frustrated with it, it's not worth my time. Because ministry is so hard and it's so stressful and emotional. I mean, everybody's burdens we sort of carry as being ministers. So I don't have enough strength to carry another burden. So I want it to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. Freddie's asking, do you have church rummage sales? Bring the inventory to you.
Yeah, I go to them. Our church doesn't have. We've got probably 5 or 6 churches within a 2 or 3 county area that do them pretty regularly. So of course we go to those and they see me coming in. But our church is probably done one since I have been home in 3 years. But yeah, good. Yeah, a lot of things you can find there that are really good priced.
For sure. I love those church rummage sales. Those are some of my favorite ones to go to, especially because there's no attachment to the items.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything just goes to support the church, and it's just a whole bunch of donated goods. And I love the ones that'll do like bag sales after a certain time, like $5 and fill the entire bag. Like, oh, I love those.
Yeah, a lot of mines I'm paying $20 for the lemonade, because a lot of them around here you go in and they're doing it for a good cause, but it's just people bringing in stuff that they don't want anymore. So a lot of times I'll just donate and get a cookie and lemonade and hit the road. Thank Hip Flippin' Mama. You're number 398. I appreciate you.
Yep. We only need 2 more to get them to 400, guys. What's up, Block 30 fan? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, he's already a sub. Comments on the videos. I appreciate that as well.
Good morning, man. I think. Glad that you're able to make it. Nana Tank's another local one. She goes to the same bins that we do, Nate.
Yeah, I was talking to another reseller the other day. I think it was GRC, the person's name was. They were talking about going to our bins too. Pretty cool.
Tim's asking, what did you preach on yesterday, if he can ask?
Wow, yeah. Sunday nights we're in 1 Samuel. So on last night I preached where the Israelites were begging Samuel to give them a king. And I think I titled it Begging for a King When You Already Have One. So God was already their king, and yet they were wanting one so they could be like everybody else, is what they asked. Oh, the other nations have it. And I think we, as Christians, I think we can even do that. We can become our own king, or money can be our king. So I think it shook the corn. I hope people heard it.
That's awesome.
Hot mess. I appreciate $3.99. Cool.
Do you record any of your sermons for like your church website or anything like that?
Yeah, we the church that I have is that I pastor is rather it's a very traditional. We're more blended when it comes to the worship service. But they used to have it on Facebook, but we have digitally recorded all of the messages, and we have a guy now that's creating a website that's just been visiting the church. So to be continued. It shouldn't be too much longer that when people ask, I'll just be able to send them over to the church website and they can watch the messages. I'm pretty savvy when it comes to that, but Anthony, I think you know this. As pastor, the church will let you do as much as you want to. As a janitor, you name it. So I didn't want to tackle the electronic side, the video production side of that. So when somebody else steps up, I'm pleased. 401, 402, awesome, y'all. Thanks.
Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you guys so much for showing your support. Definitely appreciate it. Let's keep it going though, man. He needs to get to 500 now.
Yeah. I got an Inaman on the way. I've already, being a prophet, I told Commonwealth picker Kevin that I would give away one of the Inamans when I get to 500. So
here we go. You're well on your way.
Yeah, hopefully we'll knock it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Jody.
Yep, let's go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, guys. Definitely would appreciate that. Nothing else, smash it for our wonderful guest today. Definitely appreciate you coming on. I've been actually wanting to interview you for a while. Ever since I first saw you in Lonnie's chat when he was doing the morning show with Justin and John back in the day. Because I saw your name and I was like, I got to check this guy out.
Yeah, I think Justin, I didn't even know this. It was before I was watching him. He had a Resale, like where he made all this, acted like I don't know, like a TV preacher,
Yeah.
and like it was a negative thing. And then I didn't even know that when I had the name. I think Resale Rabbit had Resale Rabbit, and I thought, well, Rev Resale's 2 R's, so that's why I came up with that YouTube name. And then, but I think Justin knows I'm not a TV evangelist now, so so he can still use that noise at Rev Resale, but hopefully that's not how I act on here. So.
Just trying to get caught up here in the chat. Brittany has a question. She said, "You said you like books. Any book that comes to mind that has helped you with reselling / business besides the Bible, of course?"
Yeah, I went to a yard sale last year, and I found it was an estate sale, and they were selling Folio Society books. That's Bolo. I don't know if you've ever seen Folio Society books, but they come in a slip case, and they're very nice printed editions. The paper in them is really thick and really nice. They're decorated, so I found those. I think I paid $200 or $300 for like 40 or 50 books, and probably made $3,000 off those books. So yeah, really nice prints, signed editions. So of course I sell all of this on eBay, so it's a special niche to get in to sell on eBay. I think Amazon sells a lot of books, but the really nicer books, that's the ones that I try to sell and look out for. You don't find them a lot. This was kind of a ritzy area of Atlanta, and I found this, estate sale and sort of just bought out a whole bookshelf of these very expensive books. So maybe a once in a lifetime find, but if it's able to help somebody else, if you find them in your area, I'd sure enough pick them up if you get them for around $5 a piece, or even some of them right now, I would pay $300 for some of them for one book, if it was the right one.
She said that has there been a book that you've read that's helped you with reselling?
Read. Yeah, I've actually got two screens going at one time, so the question was cut off. I didn't see it. No, I all of my reselling education has come from where they're at right now. I've just sort of learned everything off YouTube, and not really read many books. I used to, when I first went into before I went into Bible college, I was in a business school, and while I was playing baseball at Kennesaw State, and got into guerrilla warfare and some of those type books. But outside of that, I haven't read a book on selling in probably 15 years. So YouTube University has helped me out a bunch.
Yep, me too. Hey, Nate, has there been any books that have helped you as far as business goes?
There was I can't remember the name of the book. I'll have to go look at what it was. It was basically like a course or something you take in college that dealt with more of the cash side of the things. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a school book. I didn't read a lot of it. I just read certain chapters just to kind of have a little extra knowledge for it. But I mean, everything that I've learned, just like what Rev said, it's mostly been on YouTube.
Yeah, I've learned pretty much everything I know about eBay and stuff from YouTube. One thing that I would say helped me in business, like as far as entrepreneurship, is this book right here by John C. Maxwell. It's the 21 Indispensable Qualities of a Leader, essentially becoming the person others will want to follow. So I read that. It helped me not only running the church, but in other business ventures that I've done in the past, like, from having my own wrestling company to, a magazine I used to have and all that fun jazz. And it could be, say you have employees or whatever for reselling, it could be useful for that as well. But it was a pretty good book. Suggest anybody that's in any kind of leadership or anything, definitely read it. So Glock 30 fans asking, he says, Rev Resale, nice quick sale on the Garrett metal detectors. What machine do you use? I have older Tessorio that does fine a few times I get out.
Yeah, I actually have it's a Garrett AT Pro that I use, and that's one of the reasons that I knew when I went by and seen that I've got two places in town that buy pallets, and what they do is they'll pull the stuff that are returned and they'll put them for sale. A lot of times they don't even check. They have certain things that they sell at high prices, but these were $50 a piece. And I jumped on them as quick as I saw. They wanted 70, and I said, well, if I buy them all, can I get them for 50 a piece? So I bought every one of them, and they literally sold. I set them up, tested them, made sure that they worked, set them up, took pictures, and two sold within probably 12 hours. And the one that was that was a Garrett Ace 400, it sold for like almost $300. Well, with shipping, it was over $300. So those were very quick sales.
Awesome. So Gina's asking what denomination
The
church.
Yeah, we are. Our church is autonomous, meaning that when we say denomination, it sometimes can get really tricky. We're Southern Baptist. We support Southern Baptist through the cooperative program, which is the way we do worldwide missions. So the church that I pastor is Southern Baptist. But the thing about a Baptist church is that we're autonomous. So nobody tells me what I preach or what we do. Every church makes its own decisions. So sometimes denominational talk can kind of get us into muddy water. There's some Southern Baptist churches that I would not support, just like there are some other denominational churches, non-denominationals, that I wouldn't support because sometimes the preaching or what they're selling really isn't the truth. So that's why denominational talk can sometimes get us into muddy water. But we are a Southern Baptist, and I'm a Christian first and foremost. That's really the title that I hold to more than anything else.
For sure. That was kind of how we were at my church too. We were an Assembly of God church, and that's where my main credential was from. Yeah. But I mean, we really were just a Jesus loving church that preached the full gospel, and we didn't really adhere to denominational limits. I would say, you know what I mean?
I always like to say the only thing good in me is Jesus Christ. So the church, that's the only thing good we got going either. So we just we lean on that, and that's our main focus. So that's what we preach and teach. And because if we just become a church that's just going to preach Southern Baptist whatever's going on, then we're not preaching Jesus. So, and most Southern Baptist churches do that as well. Just preach Jesus. So that's the flag I'll wave.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's one thing I've learned is denominations are really what separates the body of Christ. Yeah. And really, we should gather under the banner of Jesus more so than denomination, and I've seen a lot of churches and ministries think that their denomination is the right denomination, and back when this whole thing started, there was no denominations. It was just Jesus. They were just following the way, and I would love to see the body of Christ kind of just link back under that same banner and really just focus on what's important.
I'd take what you just said a little bit further. I would say that opinion is what separates us. Everybody it's not just denominational. You can even go within a denomination and people got their opinion about church is supposed to be like that, or this is supposed to be like that. And if it's not biblical, if it's just your preference or your opinion, that's usually what divides the body of Christ. So I don't, so I'm really not interested in that. I don't get in debates or arguments when it comes to politics because I've never won anybody over by fighting or by arguing. I just love on people. I preach Jesus, and if that's not good enough, then there's nothing I got for you because that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Georgina is asking if it's a holiday today over here. Yes, it's President's Day here, which like isn't really a celebrated holiday, but the post offices and banks and everything are closed. So just a reminder to anybody out there that's getting their shipments ready. There's no shipping today. So tomorrow you should have a huge amount of packages to take to the post office.
Hopefully I'll have
Everybody
one.
Yeah, we need to get Nate off that schneid.
I've been listening too. That's what makes
a lot on eBay, Nate.
I've been listing more lately than I ever have, and I don't know. I did a 25% sale. I just don't know what's going on. That's the highest I usually go is 25%. So
yeah, me too. I've never gone higher than 10, and a lot of times I'll just do that on the weekends. My weekend was off, but it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't dead, but it was. It wasn't horrible either, but it wasn't that great.
Yep. And Tommy says FedEx and UPS still run, which reminds me I have to take my Amazon order to Staples to get it out to UPS today.
Yeah, this tells you how vanilla my reselling game is. I think I'm doing about 17,000 for 90 days, the little thing that comes up on the phone, and I have never sent anything FedEx or UPS. Everything I've ever sold has all gone USPS. Need to up that game too.
Bad Dog's asking when that other reseller found your honey hole, was he a viewer or just by chance?
I think he was an Amazon reseller, and he lives here in the community, and I don't know how he hasn't already stumbled on it anyway. So by chance that he's watching this video, he's a great guy, but it was it was one of those things where I had an item that I had purchased a bunch of, and they had a lot more in the back that I wasn't aware of, and I was selling these items for, it was ROC, it's a health and beauty product. I was selling them at the time for like $39.99 a piece. He went in and bought a big I don't know, I guess he bought 25 or 30, and he's dropped the price all the way down to like $15.99. So I'm just letting him sell out, and when he sells out, I'll come back in over top. And I told him, I said, man, I'm not going to chase you to the bottom. I said, you can sell yours at whatever you can sell them for. And it may take me a year, but I'm not any rush to unload it. But I think he just found my, found my eBay store, and he's just kind of mirrored everything that I'm selling on the eBay store. He goes into the place that I buy and tries to buy the same stuff. But I mean, that's part of the game. He's trying to make a profit, trying to make a living, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah. So hopefully prices will go back up once he's sold out. That's what a lot of people do with Amazon too, is like they'll hold their inventory so that way once somebody tanks the price and they sell out, you can bring it back to the actual price that you were getting and
that's the good thing about me doing this fun time, is because this product I have $2 a piece in. If it sits there for a year, I'm out $200. So it's not it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. That's like the one thing I miss about doing this at I don't want to say as a hobby, but like part-time, is I didn't really have to rely on the money. So like stuff sold, cool. If it didn't, I didn't really care, you know. But now it's like, okay, well, I have to pay my eBay bill. I have to, I have a whole bunch of stuff that automatically comes out of my PayPal account each month. So now it's like, if stuff's not selling, I'm like watching every day, like, what can I do to like drive sales?
And I think that's where this other guy is at. I think this is all he does for his living. So we talked. I actually picked him out in the store one day, and I think it scared him a little bit. I wasn't being aggressive. I mean, I had my church shirt on. It had the label, so I mean, he sort of knew when he saw Rev Resale was the eBay store name. I think he knew that's who it was. And I told him, I said, man, I'm fine. I said, you're welcome to buy this stuff as much as I am. But I told him, I said, if we could work together, we could set the price at the same mark, and either you can sell or I can sell. But he still bottomed the price out. So hopefully he hurry ups and sells out so I can start making a few sales on those listings.
For sure. Yeah, Ken says resellers that can't afford to resell kill the market. They thin out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does kind of suck. And that's what happens a lot with like clearance items is you'll get it and like you'll comp it at the store and it'll look real good. And then you get it back and you'll be like, okay, well, I'm not really making much because the price has been so badly tanked. Hey, Tony, good morning. Rusted Raccoon, good to see you, man.
Nate, you talked earlier about Amazon and about purchasing and having, do they put the labels on it for you, everything like that, and then send it into Amazon on your account?
Yep, they can do that. I can just send them a, like instead of me printing out the labels, I just send them a copy, of the paperwork that needs to be. Then they'll print the labels on their side and label them and send them in.
Wow, that is passive income. I mean, you're not having to, you don't ever touch the product. That's sweet for an eBayer. I mean, I'm buying it, shipping it, cleaning it. I mean, I'm doing every bit of that on everything I sell. So that would be enticing if you could find that kind of a deal.
Yeah, it's something I'm looking into doing. Everything so far I've packed up and shipped into FBA, and then they have done the rest.
Mm-hmm.
But having the wholesale side be able to ship everything in is going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to, here shortly. Because if I had them ship it to me and then I ship it into Amazon, that little bit extra that they charge me is going to be cheaper than me having to send it in and adding it to my shipment. So.
Yeah, that's that would be. I mean, that sounds nice because it time. I mean, there's so much stuff driving it. I don't know if you drive to the post office. I do every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it would save a lot of time and money.
Yeah, I mean, if I did merchant fulfill on my Amazon stuff, I mean, there'd be times I'd have to pack 30, 40 shipments after work. So Amazon FBA has really saved me a lot, and it's something I've added on top of my eBay and my full-time job. Where like how you were saying, like if with eBay you can set it and forget it, your items for sale and everything like that. It's kind of the same thing with eBay. You're able. The only thing you have to do is every once in a while just make sure and check your account, make sure everything's good and your prices are set. And then I have a pricer, so I just have it set where I'm happy. If it sells, it sells. If not, I'll wait. And then kind of works itself.
Mm-hmm.
But like in that case where you're dealing with that person taking that price on that item or whatever, a lot of times, as long as it's an item that sells pretty good on Amazon, the wait time of having to wait for that sellout usually isn't too bad.
Yeah.
As long as it moves, if it moves 20 or 30 or more, 20 to 30 at least a month, usually the wait time of having to do that ain't too bad. Because I just shipped in, well, this wasn't something I shipped in recently, but probably about a month or two ago. Actually about a month ago, I shipped in 130 of an item, and someone tanked the price on it. And I'm like, geez, like I got all this inventory in there. And then I'm looking at the average sales per month, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be okay, because he only had 60 in there. So it ended up selling 80 in a month. So whatever he had in there sold within, like 2 weeks. And then I ended up selling my 120, the last 2 weeks after that. So
sometimes the slow game is the best game. You can go for the quick dime, or you can hold out for the long dollar. And if you don't have much upfront money in it, I mean, you're willing to me, that's the way I view it. I'm willing to sort of wait on that dollar if I don't have to have the, quick dime. So, and some things we want to sell quick, but a lot of one-off items and things like that. I mean, you can turn it around really quick, but if I've got a place to store it and it's not costing me a bunch, I'm fine for holding out for a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm the same way. An eBay message. Every time I see that,
I hate the noise.
I think I sold some $12 deodorant. So I've had one sale since we've been on. That's good.
Nice. Yeah, that was actually just somebody telling me that they paid. So I sent a payment reminder this morning. So that was a good message.
Yeah, that's another part of eBay. Just about everything I have make offer. So sometimes I'll have 10 items that are awaiting payment, and if there was a way eBay could figure that one out, would be a blessing, I think, to all of us. Because I think there's times people will tie up. If there's 2 items, they'll buy it and tie it up and wait for theirs to sell, and then just let the product sit there until you have to go through that week-long process of getting it relisted. I wish they could figure that one out.
I do too.
Yeah, Landlord Picker, the $12 deodorant was just a lot of 2 free shipping, so it's really about $5 a piece. So it was, I think it was a good deal.
All right. Well, it's getting to be a little close to 11:30, and I just got a message from my wife. She is getting her car inspected. I'm gonna have to go pick her up. But I definitely appreciate you being on with us today, David. That means the world to us. And again, guys, if you're not yet subscribed to Rev Resale, please make sure that you go over and you sub to his channel. I know we got him over 400. I'm happy about that. But if we can get him a few more, I'd really appreciate that as well. Is there anything that you'd like to say in closing?
Yeah, I appreciate you and Nate for having me on. I watch. It's good for me. Sometimes I'm not able to interact in the chat because, I'll have you on. You'll be on my radio in the car and just sort of listening to y'all talk when I'm driving around. But I appreciate what y'all do for the community and appreciate you having me on. It was a good time.
Yeah.
Feels like home.
Hey, you're welcome anytime, too.
Yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah, not a problem. Anything you want to say, Nate?
No, that's it. I'm happy that he came on, got to know him a little better as a name to a face, and hope everyone has a great day.
Awesome. We'll be back tomorrow morning, guys, on Nate's channel, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep.